We're going to be looking at fuel price hikes, and my guests are Jeffrey Kapiteo Kansi, and Mensah Thompson. Now, let me quickly read for you a story, and then we'll get right into it. Now, regarding the fuel price hikes issue, we have COPEC making some commentary here, and it says that fuel price hikes strengthening the city must be a top priority. Now, it says here, the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, has urged the government to focus on strengthening the city to ensure a reduction in the prices of petroleum products. Prices of petroleum products have been on a free fall in the past weeks and further worsened with the reversal of the suspension of the price stabilization and recovery levy. Now, the executive secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amoah, on the big issue on Citi TV and Citi FM, blamed the price increases on a weaker currency and urged the government to strategize on improving the strength of the city. And I quote, "What we can do as a country at this point is really to strategize on your currency and do whatever magic that had been done before August 2022. Prices of petroleum products did hike, and at the point, diesel and petrol were crossing 21 Ghana cedis. And for some reason, we were able to cool off those two." All right, so let me come to you, Mensah Thompson. Fuel price hikes, we're expecting more. Right now, I think we've crossed the 14 per litre mark.
And I think COPEC is predicting that we are likely...
We are hitting about 17.
Yes, we are likely to end the month at 18 cedis per litre if we do not take care. You see? And there is no difference between the attitude of government on this electricity crisis and its attitude on the fuel problem. The same reckless abandon, carelessness, insensitivity, because the policymakers don't buy some of the fuel. They don't pay. They move their cars to the stations with either coupons, or they fill it and they send receipts, vouchers, and then the government pays. So they don't. Kweku, in 2020, the global price of fuel, of crude, dropped to, I think, almost $40 per barrel.
Yes.
During that time, we asked government that if you look at the price buildup of fuel, the global price of crude is a key determinant in the price buildup of fuel. So if the global price have dropped to $40, at least try to use the windfall to cushion Ghanaians by reducing the export price. You know what government told us? They told us that, oh, we are now practicing a deregulated sector. We are now using the automatic price adjustment regime, and so government cannot intervene. That was the excuse. So even though the global price of crude had fallen, Ghanaians still paid the highest for fuel in the sub-region during COVID. Okay. Then post-COVID, the prices began to rise again. Then when the price go up on the world market, then strangely, the price will increase. Then we ask the government, when the crude price was going down on the world market, we did not see a reduction in our local price, export prices. How then are we being told that because prices are going up on the world market, that's why our export prices are also going up? Then we sat down. Then we realized that there are three key determinants of prices of fuel in Ghana. The first one is the global price of crude, which government does not have control. The second one is the exchange rate, which the government has total control. And the third one is taxes, which also the government have control.
Yeah.
So these three key indicators is only one that government does not have control over, which is the global price of crude. But the exchange rate, if you manage the economy well, put in the necessary buffers, ensure that our economy is doing well, our currency will perform better, and then it will affect the export price. There's also taxes. As we speak, there are 17 different taxes you pay on just a liter of petrol you buy. 17. And let me mention them. We have energy debt recovery levy, we have road fund levy, energy fund levy, price stabilization recovery levy, sanitation and pollution levy, we have energy sector recovery levy, we have special petroleum tax, we have primary distribution margin, we have bust margin, we have fuel marking margin, the bus that is not working well, me and you, the bus that we are still paying every fuel we buy. You know, we have fuel marking margin, we have ex-depot margin, we have UPPF, we have marketers margin, we have dealers, retailers, and operators margin, we have LPG filling plant, premix, MGO local administration cost, we have distribution compensation and promotion margin, we have 17 different taxes on every liter of fuel you buy. So you have not managed the economy well. You've borrowed this economy into a debt pit. We are struggling. Everything is in a mess up. We can't pay our debt. We are in a crisis. You've driven us under an IMF program. You've gone to the bank, our savings, our little investment, our pensions. You've taken everything. So now the Ghanaian economy has no legs to stand on.
But IMF says that we're doing well.
So please forget about IMF. So if you have not managed that well, then you will come back and you said, okay, Ghanaians, I have managed the economy, and it has driven the exchange rate now to about 13 cedis to the dollar, which is impacting on the price of fuel. But in the midst of this crisis, I have still added or I still put 17 different taxes on fuel for you to pay. If there's not a wicked government, tell me what is the definition of a wicked government?
Yeah, but some of those taxes were inherited, so it's not as though...
Inherited? Kwaku, that's your excuse?
No, I'm just saying. You're saying that...
When those taxes...
you're making it sound
when
as
those
though
taxes were brought,
this government, when it came, put all the taxes, 17 taxes on the fuel.
Tell me, why in God's name are we paying sanitation pollution tax? Why in God's name are we still paying COVID tax on petrol? Why in God's name are we still paying the UPPF? Why in God's name are we still paying bust margin? Tell me why in God's name are we still paying these taxes? Why?
All right, thank you.
So, Kwaku,
yeah,
if you were sitting in opposition, you told us, even at that time, the taxes on fuel were not up to 10. You were telling us that those taxes were nuisance taxes.
Yeah.
So we should vote for you. You come and remove all the taxes, move us from taxation to production, reduce the price of fuel for us. We vote for you, come to power. Then you move us from taxation to double taxation to triple taxation to multiple taxation. Now you are killing us with taxes. So how do we explain this level of incompetence, insensitivity, recklessness, and carelessness from a government that just doesn't care about the plight of its suffering people?
Right,
and we keep shouting and shouting every day on top of our voices, and nothing is being done.
All right, thank you.
I think the argument by COPEC is a salient one. The fact that we need to actually work on the cedi to appreciate against the dollar, and then that's a yes of it, because you need to have the dollar drop down for the cedi. And how do you do that? You need to do a few things to get there, and that's a good call from COPEC. You need a few dollars to purchase fuel from outside, so that's a very good call, and I think my brother Don Kanamwa and his soldiers have always been nailing this point in most of the workshops we have attended together. You need to also look at this angle, some of the things we can do. We need to look at the situation of hoarding of the dollars. I mean, that's in the system. People hoard it. It's people's business, because now if your bonds, if you invested in bonds, and look at what government did to your money, and you're actually panicked. Most of the people are now hoarding their dollar as a form of business. They are actually investing because the dollar keeps appreciating. Yeah. So it's better to even hold the dollar, and then that's what they are doing in their angles. I mean, and so the dollar hawks are on our necks, and they are also worsening our plight. We need to also improve the capacity of burst and increase storage. I mean, during global price downfalls or windfalls, it's only proper. That was the idea. You know, that was the idea to shape our circles and stand properly. If you plan well, you know you need X amount of fuel. Let's say 10 gallons. Ghana needs 10 gallons of crude. Let's say fuel, petrol and diesel. You need 20 gallons. You need 10 gallons of petrol. You have to have a farm where you have the capacity to store about 100,000. Then you know for X number of years this is what you are doing. The bus farms are supposed to be the hold up for us, so that the global shakeups do not affect us. But what have we done? Have we bought and stored the fuel like we're expecting to do? No. We need to remove the many taxes on the product. Like my brother said, yes, they go like, when you remove the taxes, how do you finance government projects and things? I've always said there are other existing opportunities like the Night and Dawn economy. You also still have the rent taxes to pay, to collect. Look, count the number of buildings you have in this enclave in Tesano alone, and go and ask them whether they've paid their property rates or how much of rent taxes are they paying. If I want to sell this building, I'll get people to evaluate it for me to sell it. But what is the argument of the assemblies? They are telling me that, look, GRA will tell you it's difficult to evaluate those buildings. I mean, how? How do you even sit back and tell me this? There should be a department within the GRA that looks at the building over the years, depreciation calculated and everything else, but then you get to know how much rent taxes that building should be paying to you. And also, you need to explore the local participation in the oil refinery industry. You know, I mean, look at Temara Refinery. Right from day one, that we thought, you see, we are a magic people. We do magic. Do you know when we sold our drill ship? And do you know when we first had our first oil refinery? The Angola one.
The one KTM went to sell.
Yes.
And came to cry.
I mean,
to tell us, if we ask him questions, his
at
mother
the
would
point,
die.
nobody was holding your neck. You had the guts to think. I told you, the thinking problem, eh? This thinking problem. You had a drill ship sitting down. You actually went ahead and sold it when you had discovered oil in commercial quantities. Then you went ahead and sold the drill ship. If this is not a cartel mind, then what it is?
Cry.
So, local oil refinery, because then look, two things happen. You don't need to think too much about it. You have to go to Accra and bring the product. And when you do the thing in Kumasi, what happens is that now you take away the transporting of the thing from Accra to Kumasi. That cost alone of importing fuel, the cost of the ship bringing it to Ghana alone, that is a huge amount of money that also accumulates on our necks. But if it's refined at all, it reduces the cost. Now explore the local participation in the sector. Look, I've told you, I get so surprised how the scammers are able to get Ghanaians to contribute huge amounts into Men's Gold, DKM, and government cannot organize the same local markets, local Ghanaians to contribute money to revamp TOR. How does it happen? You can just guarantee TOR and then get the people to bring the money and then run TOR to its fullest capacity. But you sit back and allow TOR to just waste like this. And you are paying, you know what? The salaries at the top management for TOR, go look at the MD salary in the face of all this. If your father was running a pure water company and the company was running down, this is the amount of money you dole out to people. Now, when the local supply increase, look, the moment you have a local refinery running and the local supply increases, there's competition. So, I mean, the importation will lessen automatically. That's one thing we can do. And then the dollar that you need to go and purchase that amount of fuel will automatically be less call for you to go in. And fuel and food, these two commodities, they run the dollar call. Fuel and food. I mean, yesterday I was so sad. I ran into the Domi market to get some few products at the last moment, and around 5:40 something, very late, and a woman was actually asking the other woman, "Is this Abidjan fish?" Hey, Ghana, my brother, the mindset, that thinking problem. You want Abidjan fish. How do you even get to know? I don't even know how they do to identify that one. But that's the problem. Even fish, you want a foreign one. Even fish, the one that God has put in the water for you, you want a foreign one. And finally, I think we need to improve our production. I mean, that call will work on the dollar for us. I mean, most of the things you are importing, rice, okay? You are importing rice, you are importing frozen food. If you had this Doma enclave, and then you have actually boosted their supply for this chicken products and the eggs and everything else, and you are going up, then you need to supplement with that one. Then you don't need to import. Look, we are talking about huge volumes of rice and poultry alone. Going to it. I knew one gentleman. I was then young. I didn't really understand him well. I was then a Nooks rep on one of the boards. Reginald, he passed. He was for this poultry producers, association. May he so rest in peace. And I could remember the way he was calling on me, how that thing would help Ghana if the young people were into agric and looking at that industry. But I think some of the things that we heard them say and the paperwork that are still existing, if we drove agric to the next level, I call it the citizens agric revolution. If we were like Chapo had Operation Feed Yourself, if we were able to grow and feed ourselves, when we reduce drastically this importation, most of the time these sellers and the importers, they always be needing the dollar. But if you actually supplement, somebody will ask, are we not going to spoil their business? No. But they still could trade, and even instead of importing, rather, we go for the reverse. When I heard the GRA cry that there are few goods imported, then I saw the thinking problem again. What if we were exporting, rather, and fed the ports with goods that were leaving for foreign exchange? That's what I think Copet has called. We should reduce our crave for dollar by reducing our importation, produce more, and then delve into this sector of fuel, and then ensure that we produce locally to feed this energy sector and other sectors to drive our industrial revolution and get the gains.
All right.